My boyfriend's friends pretended to kidnap me for a proposal, but they made it too realistic and brought me to him traumatized. Posted by you/cautious_rabbit. I'm trembling and just created this alt account because my main account has a lot of details about me that would make it easy to trace back. A week ago, my 23F boyfriend, 26M, told me he had a camping trip planned with his friends for Friday today. He said he would have no service and that he'd see me on Sunday. He messaged me at 5 a.m. this morning and told me they were hitting the road. Around 8 a.m., I went for a run, like I usually do on Fridays. I keep one headphone in while I run because I'm often on a work call. While I was running, I noticed an SUV that kept popping up. In hindsight, it looked just like my boyfriend's childhood friend's car. I sent a message to my sister, telling her to stand by, and I shared my location. Right after sending the message, I looked up, and the SUV was right beside me. Someone jumped out and grabbed me. It happened so fast that I even dropped my phone on the pavement. I was pulled into the car, and I could tell there were at least 2 masked guys in the back before they covered my eyes. In hindsight, they had cartoonish ski masks and black gloves on. I freaked out and resisted like crazy, screaming and kicking. All I could hear was these guys laughing, and I could feel one of them holding my arms behind me while the other held my legs down at the knees. I don't know how long I was in there, but I kept begging them to let me go and crying. I even admit I peed on myself, but I don't think they noticed until we arrived at the house. They pulled me out of the car, and I screamed for help until I was dragged into a house. When the mask covering my head was removed, I was on my knees in front of my boyfriend of 2 years. He was staring at me with a confused look before he started angrily asking his friends what was going on. As I started to process what was happening, I realized he was dressed nicely, and there were romantic decorations around the entryway to his house. I recognized him and the setting, and I collapsed into sobs. I probably had a 5-minute panic attack in that car on the way there and another one sitting in the entryway to his house. I was sweaty, wearing soiled yoga pants, flushed with fear, and terrified for my life. That all happened about an hour or 2 ago. My boyfriend took me upstairs and was going to help me get showered and changed, but I wanted to do that alone. I heard yelling and commotion downstairs while I was in the shower, but I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting in his room now, holding my shattered phone after crying to my sister about what happened. She lives 90 minutes away but is speeding over to get me now. I can't stop thinking about what happened. Even though I know now I was never in any real danger, I don't think my brain can fully comprehend it. They were snickering and teasing me in deepened voices about what they were going to do to me. The one holding my legs down kept caressing my thighs, moving his hands up and down toward the inner area. When the car would brake, his face kept falling into my chest. I don't even know who that was. I just know one of them sounded unsure and kept trying to defuse the situation, but I think it was the driver. Edit. My sister arrived. She wants to take me to the police station now. I haven't spoken to my boyfriend yet, but I think there's more to this story than he knows about. I'll have to log off for a while. Thank you for the support in the comments. Edit 2. I'm working with the police now. This is going to be investigated as false imprisonment if I press charges. My sense of time was so warped. From where I was picked up to his house was about 7 to 10 minutes by car, but it felt way longer than that. As for the friends, the driver was his childhood best friend, whom I actually get along with well. He was in tears when he voluntarily arrived at the police station to give a statement. The other 2 were friends from his athletics class, which he started attending a few months ago. It seems like the 2 guys I didn't know wanted in on what was otherwise supposed to be something more innocent. The original plan was for them to pop out of the car in their funny kidnapping attire and hand me a letter explaining that I was being summoned by my boyfriend and that resistance was futile. It seems the plan changed as the 2 new friends wanted to shake me up a bit more and make it feel more real. Edit 3. I've had time to calm down and have had long talks with my sister. We are going to meet up with my I'm not sure yet, boyfriend for dinner tonight. He has been respectful of my requests for space but has been emotional whenever he thinks about what I went through this morning. His best friend contacted me repeatedly, apologizing for allowing it to get that far, but I asked him to stop, and he did. The best friend's fiancé reached out and has been supportive and apologetic, too. I'm astounded by the support I've received here and wish I could thank each of you individually. I've never had anyone other than my sister and boyfriend care for my mental well-being like this. Reddit is a very kind place sometimes. Update 2 weeks later. Hello, I apologize for going MIA. I saw my story posted on r/Bistov Redditor updates, so I finally logged back in. There's a lot I wish I could share with you all, but unfortunately, due to legal consultation, it's best I keep much of it private. In short, I'm healing. My now fiancé proposed to me privately last week. We've had many tough conversations, and his responses to everything reminded me how safe and loved I feel with him. He didn't ask for or endorse that type of plan. I've learned that the two friends I didn't know well were highly influenced by YouTube pranksters and social experiment channels. Also, one of them let us know he is on the spectrum and apologized for his role. I think that's all I can share for now. I am only consulting at the moment and may not press charges. Thank you so much for all the kindness and support. Opening my inbox today warmed my heart incredibly. Edit. There are a lot of people who disagree with me staying with my fiancé. I'm sorry I couldn't explain in detail how confident I am in him throughout this. Please read carefully before passing judgment, and I'm sorry I couldn't please everyone with my decisions. However, after further reflection, I think pressing charges is the best course of action. Maybe I'm a bit too tender-hearted, but I didn't want the former best friend to face consequences either. That said, it seems he has too. Second update 7 months later. Hello, concerned friends. I'm not sure if anyone still remembers me, but I wanted to give a final update as I close out this year. 2024 was crazy for me. I spent the entire year working on myself in therapy. I developed an obvious trauma response to being in public, especially when men would sneak up behind me or quickly exit cars near me. I also developed a fear that made life tough. I became very afraid of my fiancé's friends. I love and trust my friends and family with all of my being, but I found that I couldn't trust anyone he brought into our life because of a feeling of losing control. Sorry if this is a bit incoherent, I'm not really sure how I feel myself. But the point is, if I haven't vetted and learned to trust people, I struggle to allow them into my life. I decided to end things with my ex-fiancé. It was tough and took months to do, but I feel better for it. He is a great man, but there were behaviors from him and his friends before, during, and after the incident that gave me pause. The doubt and mental anguish were too much, and I just had to run away from it all. Shockingly to me, but not to my therapist, I feel immensely better now. It's almost like a switch went off, and being away from him has expedited my healing so much. I'm scared about being at my age and starting over, but I'd rather not be married at all than live in the stress I was in. Happy New Year, everyone. Also, an update on the legal side, the charges were dropped, and I was not mentally able to pursue anything further. I will say the lives of his friends have been stained, and I don't care to check the extent. I just know there was a breakup, and one was kicked out of their living situation over it all. Commenter. I'm autistic and an attorney. One of the great benefits of autism, in my opinion, at least, is that I can very clearly discern the rules of what's right and wrong, as well as what's legal. It's one of the reasons I'm on my state bar's ethics committee. We literally have the guidelines and laws written out. It's great, and yes, there are shades of gray and some room for interpretation, but not in this case. She was assaulted, battered, simply grabbing her counts, let alone groping her, kidnapped, and subjected to severe intentional infliction of emotional distress. I hope OP considers pursuing civil charges, even if going through the criminal system wasn't worth it for her. But I completely understand if she doesn't, as sometimes folks just need to move on. Being autistic doesn't make someone a jerk or prone to committing felonies, and it grinds my gears when people use the spectrum as a defense for shitty behavior.